What's going on, my man? I'm live. My name is Patrick James. As you can see, my apartment is freshly decorated for Christmas, and I had a little bit of time to kill, so I figured rather than kill time, I would be productive and go live on Facebook because I've been so busy that I haven't had the time to sit down, record a video, edit the video. So, what's the next best thing to an edited video of Patrick James Raw Dating Advice? It's a live stream. So, I'm going to come on here, answer a few questions, chit chat with you guys, deliver some value. And the title of this live stream, I've made it right now. I can change it later depending on what we talk about. But you are first, my man. Der Antonio, what is going on? So I was going to talk about today how to come out of a massive cold streak with women. Now, why was I going to talk about this? Well, it seems to be a common theme that I've been coaching a lot with my mastermind guys, my coaching clients, and in fact, I actually have a coaching client coming here tonight, here in a couple of hours, and we're going to go out Friday night. But these guys, they're dealing with cold streaks, right? They have lower self-esteem. They feel like their confidence is taking a hit because at one point in time, maybe a couple months ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, they were killing it. They could approach girls. They could get attraction. They could get these girls' phone numbers. They could, get instant makeouts. They could pull these girls home. They were having success for whatever success meant for them. But then when we get on a coaching call, and like they're telling me about this, the next time I see them, they're like, dude, I've been on like this massive cold streak. Like every girl I talk to, I'm not feeling it. Like I'm not going to get any good responses. I have so much anxiety just approaching women. And I'm like, I've been there before. I know exactly where you're coming from, man. You're in a cold streak, if you will. And here's the thing. The only reason that you ever hit a cold streak is because your ego is now in the game, right? When you're out, you're dating women, you're going on dates, right? And everything's going good. You don't have any ego about it. You're just in the moment. You're trying to improve. You're putting, some piece of advice that you learned into action and you're seeing what happens, right? There's zero ego about it. However, there reaches a point in time where, you're getting good results and then your ego starts to go, holy shit, I'm actually getting pretty good at this stuff. Like, man, I'm a fucking icy cold pimp right now. And that's when your ego starts getting into it. And that's what fucks you up because it's like you're going up the mountain, and you're just improving. You get to the top, you're like, holy shit, I'm the fucking man. And then now, instead of trying to improve instead of trying to take action on advice that you learned, now every time you talk to a girl, every time you approach a girl, every time you go on a date with a girl, the only thing you're doing is trying to reinforce your ego. You're trying to reinforce this new self-image of I'm a pimp. So rather than just improving, not having any outcome dependence in mind, now you're super you're outcome dependent because now you're trying to reinforce your self-image, your ego with your results, right? So you're trying for an outcome, if that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Leave a comment. Let me know if you guys are feeling what I'm saying right now, right? So that's what happens. And here's the thing. Everything in life is a cycle, right? Markets, if you're into marketing, they're all a cycle. If your game, your results, it's all a cycle. So what goes around comes around. So if you're doing really good, the next logical step is for you to hit a dip, to hit a cold streak. And like I said, the only reason that comes about is because your ego gets into it. Now you're trying to reinforce your self-image of I'm an icy cold pimp who's getting a lot of results. Right? And then you go into a cold streak. And here's the thing. The higher the high, the lower the low. So the more ego you got into it, the better, how do I want to say this? If you thought you were just so fucking amazing, you were God, that's like that cold streak is going to be low, it's going to be long, and it's going to suck even more than if it was just like, I'm doing pretty good because, it's a cycle, right? The high is as low as the low, if that makes sense. All right. So here's the only way to come out of it. You don't play the victim mentality here, right? If you're hitting a low, if you're hitting a cold streak, the worst thing you can do is be like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, I was doing so good before. Like, it shouldn't be this way. That's the poisonous word. It shouldn't be this way, right? I should be good at this. I've been doing this for a long time. What the fuck is going on right now, right? As soon as you start thinking like that, you're just keeping yourself in that cold streak. You're keeping yourself at a low, and it's gonna hurt your results until you finally stop resisting and start accepting, okay, this is what is. How do I come out of this? What can I do? What can I control, right? Because you can't control the fact that a girl doesn't want to talk to you. You can't control the fact that, people aren't feeling your vibe right now. You can't control the fact that you're in a cold streak. But what you can control is the fact that you're gonna learn, you're gonna take action every day, and you're gonna finally drop your ego. That's what you can control, all right? So stop worrying about the things that you can't control. Women approving of you, you having positive results, you banging 7 bitches in 1 week. You can't control that shit. But what you can control is the fact that regardless of the results that you're getting, you're going to continually learn, you're going to show up, you're going to watch Raw Dating Advice, and you are going to take action. That's it. That's all you can control, is how much action are you going to take, how much are you going to learn, and how much are you going to study this stuff, and how much are you going to implement? That's it. And as soon as you can drop the ego, as soon as you can stop thinking, all right, it shouldn't be this way, that's when you start coming back out of that cold streak. That's when you start getting better results over and over and over again. If you like that, give me a thumbs up. Let me interact with you guys. That's the whole point of these live videos. And if my arm's getting shaky, let me know. I'll rest my elbow. There we go. That feels better. All right. Oh, by the way, if you're watching this video right now, go over to my Instagram. It's at @ThePatrickJ, @TheRealPatrickJ, and let me know. I took a poll about what you guys think about these glasses. So go to my Instagram and vote what you think about these glasses, and check out my outfit of the day, right? Ryan McGinn consulted. Ryan McGinn's my boy. He's actually here in Phoenix. I'm about to go out with him on Saturday. We're gonna go out, we're gonna shoot some videos. But yeah, man, it's almost like you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. When I picked up Ryan McGinn at the airport yesterday, and I was like, shit, I better put on a good outfit. I better look fucking good, because if I don't, I'm gonna feel like an asshole picking up the handsome guy expert from the airport and I look like a fucking bum, right? So being around someone who has high standards for fashion raises your own standards for fashion. Being around other people who have high standards for self-improvement, for life, for business, for women, for game, also raises your standards. Because if you don't have high standards, then you're fucking up if you're hanging out with them, and they're gonna make you look bad, right? So change your environment, man. That's another way you can come out of one of these cold streaks, all right? Let me know if you guys have any questions, because I'm just here for the next 20, 30 minutes answering questions, interacting with you guys. I can for sure talk for 30 minutes, talk to myself and have you guys watch, or you can give me questions and I can interact with you guys on my YouTube channel, Raw Dating Advice. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give me a thumbs up, my man. Oh, by the way, go over to my Instagram, vote. What do you think of these glasses? Are they dope? Do I look like a serial killer? Do I look like a chump in these glasses? Let me know. I'm curious. And what do you guys want to know about? Merry Christmas, by the way, if you guys are Christian, or if you celebrate Christmas in any way, shape, or form, or Happy Hanukkah if you're Jewish. I'm not Jewish myself. One guy commented on a video. Actually, I'm going to go to that comment real quick, because I've gotten a couple of questions that are pretty damn good. And I think this question, how can I change environment? I don't know what places to go. I'm 22. Bro, you're 22. Where do you live? Carlos Pena, where do you live, man? Let me know. What country? Are you from the US? Are you from Australia? Mexico? But regardless of where you're from, bro, like you're of drinking age no matter where you are in the world, right? Okay, Illinois, perfect, dude. Are you close to Chicago? Because I've never been to Chicago, but I hear it's pretty damn dope, right? Let me know. Because if you are of age to go out into the club, into the bars, whatever, you should be going there, right? Even if you don't necessarily like that type of scene, like the music is too loud, whatever it may be, you still got to take into account that's where women go. Women love going to those places, right? So if you want to meet women, if you want to change your environment, if you want to get around other people who are trying to get good at game, that's the place to go. That's just my opinion. But here's what I say about meeting women. There's a million different ways to meet women, right? You can skin a cat 100 different ways. You got to find the one that's the most efficient for you. So it's the same thing with meeting women, right? You got to find the one that works for you. For me, it was cold approach, picking up girls, talking to girls, approaching girls at the grocery store, at the club. Never been to a bar and don't drink. That's why I feel awkward about it. Well, here's the thing, man. If you feel awkward going to places like that, all that tells me is that it's outside of your comfort zone, right? So you got to push your comfort zone, and you got to see after you've tried it out and after you've actually given it the good old swing of the bat a few times. Try it out and then form your opinion from there, right? And not just like, I went to the bar a few years ago before I started learning dating advice and I didn't like it. Like, once you learn dating advice, go out and apply it, because you're coming from a whole different paradigm now, right? I used to go out to bars all the time in college, and I wasn't that good at game in college, right? That was almost 8 years ago. Fuck. And yeah, man, I hated it. I thought it was too loud. I was like, girls are mean. They expect me to buy them drinks. And then I got good at game and I started enjoying going to those places. It's almost like working out at the gym, right? Back in high school when I first started lifting weights, I hated doing the tricep dips, right? I hated doing dips because I sucked at them. My triceps weren't strong enough to lift my body weight and do dips. But then eventually dips became one of my favorite exercises because my tricep game became strong. I started doing dips a lot more. Same with pull-ups. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more you start to enjoy doing it. So back to my point here is, if you guys know anything about getting traffic online or like getting traffic to a YouTube channel, for example, there's a million different ways to get traffic. You can post on your blog. You can get other people to send traffic to you. You can do collaborations. There's a million different ways. You can pay for traffic. And the same thing with meeting women. You can go to the bars, you can approach women. You can go to grocery stores and approach women. You can do the social circle thing. You can do online dating. You can do Tinder. You can do Bumble. There's a million different ways to meet women. Ultimately, you got to try out several different ways and then find which one works for you. Same thing with getting traffic online. You try a bunch of different things, and eventually one thing is going to work best for you. And then when you find that thing, you double down on it. So for me, when I first started my business, my dating business, for example, I was trying YouTube videos. I was trying Facebook videos. I was trying blog posts. I was trying guest blog posts. I was trying, doing guest emails on other people's lists. But what I found worked best for me ultimately was the YouTube videos. And here I am, Patrick James, Raw Dating Advice, and people watch my YouTube videos. I get thousands of subscribers, right? You see my YouTube channel and it's growing more and more each day. And so when I realized that that was the one that was working best for me, I doubled down on YouTube, right? I don't really post on Facebook anymore. I'm starting to post a little bit more as far as Instagram goes, but YouTube is where it's at right now. So same thing with meeting women. If you don't necessarily like going out to bars, well, have you actually tried it, right? Have you tried online dating? Have you tried Tinder? Have you tried social circle game? Try about a bunch of different things out. Eventually, one of them is going to work best for you. And then when you find that one, double down on it. For me, it was all about cold approaching women. That's what worked for me, and that's what I tend to be really good at. And that's kind of what I'm doubling down on. That's what I did double down on. And that's what I tend to teach is approaching women. I also teach a lot of social dynamics as far as like building up your social circle, but that's not my primary way to meet women. I don't meet a ton of women through my social circle. I have a social circle because humans are social creatures. We want friends. We want people around us who are like-minded. So obviously build up the social circle, but if it doesn't work for you as far as being the primary way you meet women, don't beat yourself up about it. Just try something else, okay? And then, like I said, when you find what works for you, double down on that shit. What else? Okay, so there is another question I wanted to answer from my YouTube channel. All right, this guy, I would read his name, but I can't. Here, I'll show you. I can't read Chinese, so that's his name. All right, he said, in your Raw Dating Advice channel, you mainly talk about how to get girls. Can you shed some light on the issue of maintaining the girl you already obtained? Dude, I fucking love this question. I don't even know how to pronounce your name, but I love it, man. Because here's the thing. We can talk about approaching girls, we can talk about attracting girls all day long, but here's the fact of the matter. Your personal fulfillment, your personal happiness is not going to come from 100 one-night stands. You're going to be more fulfilled from, 5 quality relationships, right? It's the depth of these relationships that you're building with these girls that's going to make you more fulfilled. And I'm telling you this from experience and from all the other guys who I know have hooked up with a lot of women. 100 one-night stands, at the end of the day, you feel empty. You feel lonely because here's the thing. A one-night stand is just that. You do all this stuff to attract this girl to, figure out the logistics, to get her out with you, and then you sleep with her once, and that's great. It's like you beat the level, if you will, if you want to make a game reference, like a video game reference. You beat the level, but you still got to start over the next day, right? If it's a one-night stand, like you slept with her and then, on to the next one, and that's tiring mentally, physically, right? That's a lot of energy to invest into sleeping with 100 women that you never talk to anymore, right? So the point I'm getting at is I like this question because it shows me that you are growing. You're coming from a higher paradigm, if you will. You're trying to get more depth in these relationships. And here's the thing. I hope no guy really gets into game and learning dating advice because they necessarily want just a million one-night stands. They get into this because they feel lonely. They want higher quality women. And when they realize that they can actually, start sleeping with more women, that's when they kind of go crazy. But it all comes back around. Coming back to life is a cycle, you realize eventually okay, the real reason I actually got into dating advice is because I wanted 1 or 2 quality women. And when you find those girls, the quality ones, the ones that really turn you on, the ones that inspire good game out of you, that's when you, once again, double down on those. You got to figure out how to attract them. Now, here's the thing. I'm coming out with a book, and this is my answer to your question, my man. So I'm coming out with a book. It's called 107 Proven Ways to Get the Girl, right? And then the subheadline is The Raw Secrets of Attracting Women Anytime, Anywhere. But here's the thing. In my book, I divide attraction up into 3 sections, right? So you're getting 100 different ways to create and maintain attraction, but there's 3 different sections because what a lot of guys don't know is there's 3 different types of attraction, all right? 3 different types of attraction. First type is the one that we tend to talk about a lot, the flashy stuff, and that's called intrigue, right? If a girl doesn't know you, if you don't pop up on her radar, she's not gonna give a shit about you. So you gotta create intrigue first. And that's the way, that's the kind of thing that will get you the one-night stands, that will get you the makeouts at the club, the phone numbers, right? The intrigue. Once you pop up on her sexual radar and she's intrigued by you, her focus is on you, that's the first part of attraction. But then after that is another part that I call lust, right? So the first part is create intrigue. The second part is triggering lust. And lust is the type of attraction that differs slightly, but how do you take that intrigue and turn it into sexual attraction to where she's actually thinking about you sexually, to where she actually wants to sleep with you and have you feel her up and put her against the wall and start making out with her, that kind of shit. I don't want to get into too much details and visual whatever. You can watch porn for that. But my point is there's multiple different types of attraction. That's the second type. And then the third type is how you keep the girl. You got to inspire obsession out of her, right? So create intrigue, trigger lust, inspire obsession. And those are the 3 sections that I have in my book, 107 Proven Ways to Get the Girl. So your question right here, how do you maintain a girl that you've already obtained? How do you maintain that attraction? Well, that's the answer, is you got to keep the attraction up, right? And the intrigue, you got to keep some intrigue, but you also got to trigger some lust, have sex with her. But the last part, inspire obsession, that's how you keep the girl long term. That's how you get a girlfriend who's dedicated to you, who supports you in life, who wants, to follow you along on your path and see where you go and grow with you. That's what inspiring obsession does, right? And I use obsession because it's a flashy term, but in reality, it's just like 2 people connecting and wanting to grow with each other, all right? And, That's why you get into game, is because you want to meet that quality girl who can do that for you and who can fulfill you in that way. So to answer this, pick up my book when it comes out here in the next month and a half or so. One, because I'm going to give you at least it's divided into 3. So 107 divided by 3, that's how many different ways you can inspire obsession. But one of the main ones that I'm going to talk about right now is just have great sex with her, man, right? And here's the thing, if you can have great sex with a woman, she's always going to want to be coming back for more, right? At the end of the day, you can be attractive. You can know every playfully challenging line in the world. You can get her turned on. But if you can walk the walk, but you can't talk the talk, she's not going to be too much into it, right? At the end of the day, we're all sexual creatures. We're all mammals here. So you got to get better at sex. Now, it doesn't matter your body type. It doesn't matter the size of your penis, right? A little bit, it matters a little bit, kind of like you want a girl who has big tits, but it's not a deal breaker, most likely. Same thing with the size of a man's penis, right? Obviously, a woman she has an ideal size of penis that she really wants, right? Like how I'm just motioning with my fingers, size of penises. But obviously, she would prefer a decent sized penis, but it's not a deal breaker. You got to be able to, it's the motion of the ocean, if you will. So I give several ways in my book, but one of them, and this is going to actually play into the mental aspect of sex, because sex is mental and physical. If you want to have better sex with a woman, all you have to do is be more demanding in the bedroom, right? Just be more demanding. So a lot of guys, for example, imagine if you're in the bedroom with a girl, you're making out with her and you're trying to take off her clothes. A lot of guys will just slip their hand behind her back and try to fiddle with the bra and try to slip it off, and without saying anything, because they don't want to take her mind out of the moment, which is understandable. But what if rather than fiddling with the bra and trying to unlock it yourself, what if you just stopped and you said, take off your bra, right? That right there is one of the ways that I teach in my book, How to Inspire Obsession. Because if you're more demanding in the bedroom, she's going to get so turned on that it won't really matter your skills in as far as the penetration, because she's already so mentally turned on at the fact that this guy knows what he wants in the bedroom and he's demanding her take off your bra, right? That's a power move right there. That's coming from a place of status, for lack of a better term, right? It's a high status move to just say, take off your bra. Right? And rather than trying to unbutton her pants and slip off her pants, just say, take off your pants, right? And then you just own her sexually, right? And you are a mammal, right? It's instinctual, right? If you just stop being in your head, it'll come natural to own her sexually, to just have great sex with her. But if you can just be a little bit more demanding in bed, and rather than trying to, fiddle around with her bra and trying to unbutton her pants, just tell her to take it off. Be more demanding in bed, right? Or this is one of my favorite ones. This is a classic one. While you're making out with her, just tell her, bite my neck, right? And she'll go down and start biting your neck. But now she's following your orders, and you're basically telling her and guiding her in bed, which implies that you've been there before, you know what you want, you have a lot of sexual experience. And then even if you don't, she's gonna think you do, just because you're more demanding in bed, all right? So that's one tip on how to maintain these girls that you've already attracted and are dating, is have better sex with her. And for just the purposes of this live stream, try that out, man. Let me know how it goes, because like I said, if you can fuck a girl good, she's never gonna leave you, right? Even if she fucking hates your guts, even if she doesn't like your personality, even if you guys aren't very compatible, if you have great sex with her every single time you have sex, she won't want to leave. She'll always be coming back for more. It's like going to a Chinese restaurant and they just have the best orange chicken in the world, right? Even if it's a little bit out of your way and it's 30 minutes away and it's kind of inconvenient to go down there, you're still going to want to go down and get some of the best orange chicken you've ever had, because that Chinese place is dope. Even if you don't like Chinese food, but they have great orange chicken and it's just you crave it, that's kind of like women and great sex. Even if she doesn't necessarily like the guy, right? If he fucks her good, she's always going to want to come back for more, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Give me some thumbs up if that made sense. Leave me some comments and let me know. Do you guys have any other questions? I'll probably be on here for a few more minutes, answer one more question or another question. And then I'm going to get going, and I'll probably be back for another live stream on Saturday. By the way, if you're watching this, hop over to my Instagram. It's at TheRealPatrickJ, all right? TheRealPatrickJ. REAL, Patrick, and then J, my last initial, right? That's my Instagram. Vote. Do you like these glasses or not? On my Instagram story, you can vote, right? I put a little poll. What do you think of these glasses? Are they dope? Are they a little swaggy? Swaggy? That's a ode to my boy Justin Bieber, swaggy. How do you master tension in the interaction with women? How do you master tension? All right, so here's the thing. Tension is great. Tension is what creates, like, attraction is a result of tension. Think about it like this, all right? I keep struggling to like hold my phone in a comfortable position, so ignore the shakiness of the camera. But here's the thing. Tension is what creates attraction. Tension is what creates that intrigue that I talked about, that I'm writing about in my book, all right? So here's the thing. Men and women already have natural sexual tension between them, right? Think about it like this. And I talked about this in one of my other videos. But if I teleported you and your celebrity crush, so that for the purposes of this, let's say Jessica Alba, right? If I teleported you and Jessica Alba to a deserted island and left you there for an entire year, right? Assuming that you guys survive, at one point in time, I guarantee that you and Jessica Alba would have sex. Even if you're not her type, even if you're a fat slob who's short and bald, at one point in time, just because you have a penis and she has a vagina, you will have sex with her. Why is that? Because men and women naturally have a sexual tension between each other, okay? So the only way you need to attract women, the whole purpose of like any attraction sparking technique is to bring out that natural sexual tension that already exists, right? So you can do this with awkward tension. You can do this by teasing her, right? Because it interrupts her pattern. So the first step is to interrupt her pattern. Stand out from every fucking guy by teasing her, by challenging her, by just looking at her and creating awkward tension, right? Awkward tension, teasing, all that just brings out tension into the conversation, into the interaction. And when that little bit of tension comes up, because it's a man and a woman, that it turns into sexual tension very quickly, all right? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. So to answer your question, the way you master sexual tension, the way you handle it is not killing the tension. That's it, right? You don't want to go over the top. Let's say, just imagine like my finger, like there's two lines right here, line, right? Above this line, too much tension. She gets intimidated, she gets freaked out, she gets creeped out because there's too much tension. She's not used to it, okay? But if below this line, there's not enough sexual tension, right? There's no tension, it's platonic, you get friend zoned, she thinks you're gay, right? So that's what happens if you don't have enough sexual tension. So if you can just create a little bit of tension, whether it's awkward tension, whether it's just like tension from the fact that she's getting a little pissed off that you're teasing her, but if you don't overdo it, that's the safe zone. That's the zone you want to be in. And the only way you master that sexual tension is by maintaining it without killing it. And here's the ways to kill tension. Laughter. Laughter will always kill tension, right? And you'll notice, like, if a girl feels a lot of tension, if she starts laughing, that's a good thing because that means she's feeling the tension, right? So laughter will kill tension. Talking will kill tension. Your words, if you talk too much, she can't feel sexual tension, okay? So one tip to give you to answer your question is if you can spark some attraction there, create that intrigue, bring out the natural tension by teasing her, challenging her, poking fun at her, those types of things without overdoing it, just hold it. Just hold that moment without saying anything, right? Just look at her in the eyes. Relaxed, dominant eye contact. Stop talking, right? And what you'll notice when you do that is when you can create that intrigue, if you will, right? What she's going to do is she's going to look into your eyes. First thing she's going to do is she's going to look into your eyes and see if you flinch, right? And she's looking for you to break the tension. Because if you break the tension before she does, that's when she actually loses a little bit of attraction for you. It's almost like a shit test in a way. So when you can tease her, for example, I remember one specific time, there's a really hot girl that I was talking to, and I found a reason to call her a dork. I was like, God, you're such a dork. And what she did was she stopped, right? There was a group of people. She stopped and she looked into my eyes and just stared. What she was doing was she was looking for a little bit of sign of incongruence. She was looking for me to flinch. She was looking for me to laugh or break the tension. And then if I did break the tension before her, that's me not handling that sexual tension very well. But if I can just hold that dominant eye contact in the moment and own what I just said, right? God, you're such a dork. And I don't apologize. I'm not apologetic with it verbally, non-verbally. That's when she feels that sexual tension, and that's when she's going to get turned on. That's when she concludes her attraction for you. All right. Hope that made sense, man. And I think this is a good stopping point here because we went deep, right? We went over the 3 different types of attraction. We went how to come out of these cold streaks, if you will. And we also talked a little bit about sexual tension and mastering that sexual tension, right? And by the way, before I get out of here, man, hop over to my Instagram at @TheRealPatrickJ on Instagram and vote on my Instagram story about these glasses. What do you think? Are they swaggy? I feel like such a loser when I say the word swaggy, but fuck it, right? Do these give me an extra swag? I like them personally. Let me know what you think, all right? On that note, I'm going to see you later, guys. I will be going out to Scottsdale. By the way, if you're in Arizona right now, come out to Scottsdale, Arizona tonight. We're going to the clubs. I have a coaching client who's flew in from, I think, Chicago, and we're going to go out tonight. We're going to do some coaching. We're going to kill it. So if you're in Arizona, come out tonight. I'll see you out. On that note, later.